Okay, so I've actually looked all around the internet for a video on how to fucking do this, how to take this phone apart, and I haven't found any yet, so I figured out how to do it myself, and I figured, well, after all the struggle I went through looking for it, I'm pretty sure other people are going to be wondering how to get it apart as well. So this is an Alcatel, it's simply called OneTouch. I'm not really sure what the exact model is, but I have all the pieces apart here. So I'm going to stop the video, and we'll restart. I'm going to rebuild it and restart from back from having it like basically as factory would be, and show you guys how I did this and how everything is still in intact here. Everything still is in pieces and in one piece except for the screen. Of course, the main reason I took this apart was because I wanted to see what happened to my screen and if it was a digitizer problem, and it turns out it was, and I probably fried it when I dropped it in water a while ago. And so if you look, I don't know if you can really see in here because this camera is really bad, but if it would focus, I would show you. But you know, it doesn't want to focus. But if you see right there, it's kind of ripped. You can kind of see how it's notched off like that, and where it connects. And also, if you see right in there, I guess you can't see it. It's not going to focus, but you see how it's black right there. You go. There you go. All right, you see how it's black on the top right there. That is basically what's stopping it. It's burnt up. So figured out I'm gonna need to buy a whole new display or digitize or everything. I'm gonna have to replace this whole thing if I want to fix it. But all right, I'm gonna stop here and then I will resume in a few minutes. Okay, now if it'll focus. Okay, here we go. All right, so now as you can see everything I have here. First of all, as far as the lighter goes, I would prefer using a heat gun of some sort. The lighter's the only thing I have, unfortunately. But this is just Phillips head 3/32 inch screwdriver here, and a 5/64 inch flathead. You could use potentially smaller, or just pick these because they're most functional for me. A pair of tweezers here. This is just a dish for the screws, and the phone, of course. And the knife, I mean, you don't want, maybe not necessarily need a knife, but I'm going to use it just because it helped me to get it apart in the first place. Alright, so now the first thing I'm going to say to do is, no matter what type of project you're doing here, you want to make sure you take out everything that's important to the phone, just in case you fuck something up, you know. Alright, so if you look here on the bottom, right here, this is the bottom left corner of the phone. There's a little notch in it, so you can take off the back cover. Okay, go, back cover. Okay, so put that up there. Battery, obviously, put your thumb in here, put a finger in there, take it out here. Okay, I'm going to take out my SD card. This is my SIM card. So SIM and SD card. Don't lose those up there. And now, so that's that. So yours probably would have two more screws here and here. I believe I lost mine, but to me I could care less. I mean, phone still functions the same with without them. Okay, so take the Phillips head, of course. I'm just gonna undo all these screws that are on the outside of it. Okay, put them in this little dish here.
Super glue, like regular super glue.
Motherfucker, I was recording something, you fuck.
This ain't gel, right?
It's regular. And whatever, my brother's in the background, he just walked in, but you know, it's still the same idea. You can still understand what the fuck's going on, so you're just taking out screws right now. Like I said, as far as using a lighter for yours, I probably wouldn't do that. Of course, it leaves carbon on it. It'll a little bit of a pain in the ass to clean off, but it works for me. The main reason you're going to use a lighter is because you're going to there's a seal that holds the screens in. Most phones, you can melt it or loosen it using heat. So a lighter, a heat gun, something of that sort would work pretty well. I don't have a heat gun, of course, so using a lighter. So once you get all the screws out,
Chris, need your help.
and well, my brother's still in here, and apparently he feels like playing a saxophone, so I'm gonna have to try to talk a little bit louder to be able to be heard. So now, obviously, they're on the sides of the phone. Let's focus here. If you look right here, these little clips. So we can get in here with your flathead screwdriver under each of these clips. So I'm just going to do that right now. If you're wondering how I'm doing this, if you look right above how there's a little notch here and then there's a slot right above, you can just get in there and you can hear it click and you'll know that one's undone. For the most part, you don't actually need to do all of them. You can just do most of them and then just get it in again and pull it apart. So that should be it. I can hear them clicking as I'm going here. Okay, so that's that. Alright, so once you got that off, you're probably gonna have these stickers and shit in the inside, but we'll worry about that in a minute. So one of the cool things I found out about this phone also is that the camera is actually, and the camera and right here, this chip here goes to the touch screen, is actually connected, but this is just a little, it's actually just an adapter, just a little plug here. So if you want to pull that up, use your thumb or whatever, it just comes right up like that. Take out the camera and put it aside. Okay, so and there's another one here. If you look right there, just pull that up. And this actually, you'll be able to just pull up and off. And that'll go through the other side once you get done taking apart, once you get down to the screen side. Right here, this, you're probably going to want to take this out as well. There's a little wire here that goes across. It goes all the way down to here, and then the other side of it. It's really easy to put these stuff back in, so that's why I would take them out just in case I don't want to break anything. Anything that's, you know, not broken already.
You take the fucking wires out of that shit now?
Yep. Alright, so down right here, there's this piece. You can just, if you want to get your screwdriver or whatever, take this out. You don't necessarily need to. I just did this anyway, just in case I didn't know if there's anything underneath it that I would need to get to. So I took it off anyways. I'm pretty sure you don't need to, but I'll just do it anyways, just for the hell of it. So there you go, just pops off top. It's not really any other screws in that. That's all it is. Just sits in there. So all around it, you're going to see same types of things. And this right here, this is where, let's see here, get it to. So this right here, this is where your screen is connected. This is where the digitizer is. You just peel this little piece of yellow tape off of it. Okay, you could use your tweezers if you really want to here. Get in there. So there's this little brown flap piece here. This goes up like that. And then this, there's a tab coming off the back of it here. You can just grab that, pull that out. Just a plug and adapter, put that flap back down. There you go. And then that should be everything that's connected to it. Now, all you really got to do is just, of course, pop this board off of here. So just start down here. Be careful not to break this vibrator off of it. Here. Now there's this right here. You're going to see this is actually the power buttons and stuff that you find on the side, which is actually just a strand with 3 little buttons on the inside of it. I don't know if you can hear that clicking, but the volume buttons and the power button are right in there, so you don't have to worry about taking that off. Try not to take that off. It's probably not easy to get back on. I never took it off yet. I don't plan on taking it off. Okay, just focuses again. So there you go. Takes that whole thing out. It's all one big piece. Okay, hey, now, right here, I took off this stickers and everything. Of course, you don't need to. I'm assuming you don't really need. There's not anything else underneath, whatever. But you know, I do it anyways. Just felt like it. If you want to take the speaker out, speaker is right here. There's only 2 speakers in the phone. The other is actually built into the other side of it. But there's that speaker right there. Just pops out the top. And you know it's a speaker because these 2 silver bars on the sides. These 2 bars are what touches to actually create the sound. You know, contacts. If you would focus on it, maybe. Okay, well, I mean, you get the idea. There's a little thing up here that has two little silver pieces on the sides of it. There you go. That right there. So that's a speaker. Now, as far as this stuff here, just try to keep it out of the way. There's another little yellow piece right here. This is just glued onto the bottom. Actually, you can just pull that up, pull that off, put it aside if you want to, or if you need to replace that even. Okay, so now the fun part now. So once you have all this done, once you have all this undone safely, so make sure you don't break anything when you do this. This is kind of a pain to do, but like I said, the heat will loosen the seal around the screen here. So I'm just going to heat up around the sides of it. I'm going to pop off the screen. And like I said, a lighter isn't always the best idea. I mean, if I had a heat gun or like a heat gun or anything like that, I probably would have used it, or maybe even just like a hair dryer. This is definitely not the most efficient, and it's going to leave a little bit of a black residue from the carbon on the phone, which I don't really like, but you know. So once you get that nice and heated up around it here, I didn't mean to scare you guys if I did all that, but my screws back in there. But you can just use a knife or a screwdriver. Actually, I ended up having to start from the top, but since I've already taken it off, it's already loose for me, so I can just start over from the side here and pop off all around the outside of it. Now, once you get it open and started, you want to try and make sure you get underneath this right here, because then that's where the screen connects and everything. When you pull it up, you're going to make sure you pull these things through these two holes here. So that screen adapter is going to go through that little hole here. So this right here is the screen adapter. That's the other piece, probably digitizer connection. So there you go. That's that whole base piece there. And then this is the screen here. Once you get here, there's also going to be another little piece of yellow tape over. Maybe if it'll focus. Come on. Come on. There's another piece of yellow tape right over this, which you can just take that off if you need to do anything with that. I don't think you would ever have to. This is not a plug or anything. These are soldered on. So, you know, probably shouldn't mess with that. There you go. That's the whole screen piece. And basically what you need to do to replace the screen, just you reconnect this right here. You reconnect this plug into the board. And that's that. And the problem with mine, obviously, is that, first of all, like I don't know if I showed like in the beginning if you remember, but right in there, if you can focus in a little bit, there's a little notch missing out of it right there. That's where the wire connects. There's two tiny little wires in there. They're not connected anymore because of that. Probably because it burnt up when I dropped it in the water. It fried the whole thing. And then right on the top of it here, maybe. Come on. Okay, well, it doesn't really like to focus very much, obviously. If it does focus, well, anyways, if you could see, there's a little bit of there's black where it was burnt right up in here. That's where it got fried up, and so I didn't really see the best of it. Let me see if I could. If I just turn off this light here, that'll help me at all. It's not helping. Alright, well anyways, there is a black residue up in there that was where it got burnt off at, so you know, it got burnt up. So there you go, that's the entire screen. Not much more you can take off from there unless you want to, of course, break the actual LCDs and everything inside. So there you go. That's the whole thing. I can just do a rebuild here if you want. I feel like, you know, most people are going to ask, why not just do that while I'm at it? So I'm going to have to rebuild it. I just wanted to do it quick in the first place so I can start off with it being built. Go from, you know, being built to you know, taking it apart. So, alright, so there we go. The disassembly. Everything's right here. And like I said, I would always make sure you keep all your pieces in a safe location, which probably was isn't the best idea for me to hit this, so I lost the screws, but the screws are all just slung around. But yeah, put those back in this little tin here. Go. Okay, so the first thing that I always do whenever I'm going to do it is, if you put these back face flat down like this, so they can go back up through the slots again. So now when you put this baby back on here, put it on this way, see how there's this shiny silver, that's going to go face down against it. And up here, this is where the speaker would be. If it would focus in on that, that's where the speaker would be. And that's where the speaker is on the top of the phone. There. So, okay, so now, of course, big to big, little to little. Put these in through the slots. I'm just kind of doing this, just pushing it up, hoping I make it in, so, you know. Alright, there we go. Those are through. And then, as far as the screen goes, just push it back together. You can eventually heat it back up to reseal it. I'm not going to reseal it because this phone is basically garbage to me because I don't have the money to replace that piece. But you basically would heat it up and it would loosen up the seal again, and then it would dry up and it would harden, hold it in place. So that's the whole thing. Okay, there's that. One thing I'm always afraid I'm going to forget to do is put stuff on like this here. So when I first took this off, I was worried too. But you want to, when you put this back on, there's one side that has nothing but orange, and the other side has little silver pieces on the corners of it. And that's the one you want to put down. You line it up, the holes with the little tiny nubs in there, if you can see them. Yeah, you kind of see those little nubs in there. The holes get lined up with that, put back on there. So there we go. Slide that one on. And down, of course, down in this corner here, there's this piece we took off in the first place. This shiny gold side is going to go down. Other side goes up, of course. Line it up in there with the screw and just push it in. It doesn't really click or anything, and that's all that's holding it in there. It just sits there. And this speaker here, you could put in now if you wanted. Of course, you put these two silvery parts upward. Now, if you look closely, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's at the bottom of it, the gold little pieces are raised up a little bit. That's going to be the part that's facing downward. So you're going to have the lump is down here on the bottom piece. You're going to put that in like that. Okay, and just sits in there like that. Now the camera, I'll show you. It's easiest thing to do. These camera here, you can also take off this camera if you just unplug it, just like the other side. The other components, you can just maybe come on. Well, okay, so there we go. Now this right here, you could just pull it up, unplugs it, and plug it back in. So if you look, there's actually a socket there, an outlet there type of thing, and it's a connector. So this just connects right on there, just like it's a regular plug. Push it in there, you can feel it click in. There you go. Now, if you took that off, you want to make sure you put it on that this camera piece. The camera itself is facing out with this silver up. With these three silvers up, and now when you put it back in, this camera is going to go face down into this little hole right here because that's the front camera. Just push it in there. Okay. I'm just, I'm kind of doing this looking from the camera point of view, so I'm not going to be exactly on. You'll hear it click in once you get it in there to start. This camera, you push that in there, you can feel it push in. Not all of it's going to click, but for the most part, you'll hear it clicking in. Just like that. Click, click. Okay. And down here. There you go. Now, the order you do this doesn't really matter now. I mean, once you have this board on here, first of all, this right here flap, you just push it back over it. It's glued right down there. You reconnect the connector just like you did with that camera. So you just push that back in. There we go. Now I push that down. On this, of course, you put the orange flap up again. Grab it from the back here. Back of that, you can see there's a white line there. basically how far it'll go in before that brown is touching it. That brown will be touching like right up against the line whenever it gets in there now. If I can get it in. It's really hard to do from this angle with and plus letting you guys see it. But you just push it, you slide it back in just like a regular plug. There it is. Right, so now you just push that in there. You can see the white line, and now when you put this down, it's basically lined up with that white line. There you go. This vibrator, you just put in this little pocket right here. It kind of sits in there. There's not anything holding it in. It just sits there. Of course, now there's this wire here. If you look really closely, it's really hard to look closely if it doesn't fucking focus. Focus. Come on. Come on. Okay, so right there's a little tiny little hole right there, little tiny little place there. Of course, this on the other side, if you look there, it's just a round piece, just goes in just like that. It's just like a regular piece of plug or whatever. Plug that in. There, you can feel it go in. You want to make sure you get this little tiny hole, not this big part up here. That's something completely different. That's not even a detachable part there. Now, if you look closely along the sides in here, there's a little bit of a well you can push this into. So you can use your screwdriver or tweezers or whatever just to push this right down in the side there. Kind of up here, you can kind of feel it clicking in a little bit. Holds it down. If I can get it to go in myself. Okay, just that. Okay, Okay, there's all that. And then just other side up there's another little tiny hole right there into those two little green lines. If you can see it, plug it right back into there. If I can get it in. Once that's in there, okay, you can make sure you push this down all the rest of the way. So right in up top here where it goes around the bend, you see this wire, you can push it right around the corner right here. Push it in there. Make sure the phone closes the same and everything whenever you put everything back on. So there you go. Make sure that's all clicked in. That's that. This is the the rear camera. I mean, so phone basically you just have it facing. Camera itself is going to be facing you. Just like that. There's a little plug on it, just like the other stuff. Plug it in right here in this little port, right next to the that little well right there. So the camera sits in this little well. And you plug that into the port right there. Okay, that's that. And you can just push it in, and it sits in there like that. Okay, there's all that done. Now, you could put little yellow pieces of tape back on and everything if you wanted. I mean, it doesn't matter, of course. You could put stickers back on and blah blah blah. I guess I might as well, but put all your stickers back on there. Make your warranty not void, I guess. But they'll be able to tell. Don't try to do that. Also, just so you know, I don't work for this company. I don't know anything. I don't work for the company. I have no idea what any of their intentions are or anything. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I don't own rights to any of the materials that are used in their phones. I don't know exactly what else I can say. I'm just doing this just for the hell of it, just to show people what I found out. So don't hold me to anything I'm saying here if it seems a little off. I'm just trying to say what the best I can. That's all that. So that's all that. Now, of course, your pieces here you'll be able to put in easier. Like obviously, you can see the slots that they would go into. If you want to just put this on first, you can do that. Also, if you look here, there's right here. This is actually gonna sit right up against that silver square thingy there, and kind of seals around it. It's kind of like a gasket type thing around that. And And that's the other speaker. That's right there. That's just the other speaker on the back side of the phone. So that actually this right here, this is metal. It's contact, which touches this side, which is the actual speakers in here. So yeah. So there you go. Push it over top. Here, click around the edges. Okay. Now this stuff right here, like I said, the power buttons and everything, it's kind of just sits in there on the side. That you hear it click in. Don't be alarmed if this bottom piece doesn't seem to go under right around here. It kind of goes underneath that piece. Just leave it's still going to work fine. You'll still be able to push the buttons. Okay, so once you get all that in there, clicked in, whatever. I'm trying to make sure I got all of mine to click. Okay, that's all that. Okay, your SD card, you can put it back in here. Slide in, voila. The SIM card. Slide back in there. If I could push it in my finger. Sorry, it keeps getting out of focus there, but you know, you already know how the fuck to put a SIM card in, I'd assume, so you know, not that big of a deal. Battery back in. Obviously the arrows to the contacts, blah blah blah. You could put the back on. I'm probably just gonna leave the screws out, but I mean, I'll put them in just a little bit just for the fucking to show it. And I'm just gonna put these screws back in here. All right. Get a screw out of there. That super glue isn't actually supposed to be there. My brother put that there. You don't need that for this at all. I would not put super glue on your phone if I was you. If I were you, especially the actual super glue brand, it's not a great idea. I did that with my iPhones before and glued part of the case to it and stuff, and it fucked up the screen, and it's not pretty. So don't put super glue on your phone. And if you're using it on your case, just take the case off first, please. It's not worth it. Just take the case off and do it. I mean, why would you want to get super glue on your phone screen? It's just not a great idea. Obviously, this is like a phone screen fragment right there. You can't see, but you know, it's one of my other phones, which kind of shattered over time. Me trying to take it apart because it was already cracked, and I ended up cracking it and breaking it more when I tried to take the screen off to replace it. So whatever. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel. The guy that I found before to help me take apart my Motorola Moto E, my the second generation Moto E, which was my main phone for a long time. Right now it's also trash. My dumbass self dropped it in the toilet a few days ago, and rice got out the water and moisture for the most part, but it just still doesn't want to work, so I'm just gonna have to buy a new phone again, or see my friend Eddie to fix it up. HTC One, my charger melted inside the port, which is one of the bad things about it. I have an HTC One M7, maybe an M8 actually, but you know, it basically I charged it overnight and at my computer desk instead of like with me next to my bed. And it woke up in the morning and smelled something weird and looked around and saw my phone over there and tried to look at it, tried to pull the charger out, and it was stuck. And I tried to pull more and figured out it was melted on the inside and fucked it all up. And it wasn't easy to get all the pieces out of it, and I still haven't got all the pieces out. It's just kind of there now. The whole thing is just kind of sitting there. And with the charging port destroyed, just waiting to be able to get somebody to get in there. Like, you can take it apart the right way if you have the heat gun and everything. You take the pop it right from the screen and everything. I'm just afraid to crack my screen. That's one of the few phones I have without a cracked screen. So, you know, I'd rather not break it if I don't have to. Just let him take care of it. If he breaks it, he buys more, whatever the fuck, whatever. That's probably my favorite phone, to be honest. If I were you, if you were picking a new phone, definitely go for HTC. They're not doing so big with flagship phones anymore, but I mean, I still love HTC. And of course, Android. Period. I can't stand iPhones. I'm sorry, you guys out there that have them. I mean, I could do videos on them also, but I prefer not to get them. Can't stand them. I fucking hate the transfers and everything to be able to use it on your Windows computer and all the hassle you have to go through over it. Just, you know, it's a pain in the ass. Also, when you're putting screws back in, if you notice, there's two little golden holes type right here. Do not put screws in there. Do not put your screws in these holes. They're not meant for screws. I guess I found another one of the screws apparently because I didn't have all of these filled in last time I put it together. But yeah, there's still another missing one. Whatever. So yeah, there's all that. Phone, and then there's back. La, click it back on, and ta-da, yay. There you go, use your phone. Whenever you would have changed your screen or whatever, it would have been done, but, you know, that's that. Alright, so, thank you guys. Most people don't give a fuck, but for the few people that end up being like me that couldn't find a video anywhere for how to do this, I felt like, you know, maybe I should make one, maybe help some people that felt like I wasn't, you know, couldn't find it at all, and I just took my chances and did similar techniques I used for other phones to take it apart with the heat to melt the seal and everything. And you know, basically it wasn't easy to do because I was always worried and whatever. And, you know, if you're taking stuff apart, you want to make sure you don't lose anything or break it more than it already is if you're trying to fix it. So. Also, I've been working on little projects, soldering and stuff, and electronic type things. So I guess I could do some videos on the type of shit eventually if anybody really wants me to. But, you know, I mean, the most recent video I posted was actually a fight, so, you know. Alright, thanks. Bye-bye.